The former CEO of McDonald's said he and the company are not technically in a food business. The CEO of McDonald's said that he and the company are not technically in the food business. We are in the real estate business. The only reason we sell 15-cent hamburgers is because they are the greatest source of revenue from which our tenants can pay us our rent. Isn't that something? See, the two largest landholders in the world, you know what they are? The Roman Catholic Church and McDonald's. The two largest landholders, I'll slow it down, in the world are McDonald's. The first one is the Roman Catholic Church, and the second is McDonald's. Most people do not understand that a franchise, McDonald's franchise, you don't own the building. You own the business in the building. McDonald's owns 45% of the land and 70% of the buildings in 2014. 2/3 of their revenue, $28 billion, comes from real estate fees that have to be paid regardless of whether the store is profitable or not. So you thought McDonald's sold hamburgers. This is the point of knowing what your key performance indicators are, what your real business is and what it isn't. Because just because this is what product you sell doesn't mean that's really what the focus of that business is or what it is that brings revenue. The two most important business equations, total margin times the number of clients equals profit. And then the second one is revenue minus expenses equals profit. Those are the two most important equations that you need to know in everything that you do. Number one, total margin. How much do you make off of your client, off your service, off your sale, off of whatever you do, and the total number of clients that you have, or the total number of sales that you have. You multiply those two numbers, and that gives you profit. And then your revenue has to exceed expenses in order for you to make money. Remember I told you, big doors swing on small hinges. And so success lies in the little things. I want to talk to you about the compound effect. If you and I made a friendly wager, and we said we're going to do 18 rounds of golf at 10 cents a round, but we're going to double it every hole. So we made a deal. We're going to go play golf together, and I say, we're just going to bet 10 cents. 10 cents a hole, that's all. But we're going to double it every single hole. Do you have any idea what that number would be by the time we get to the 18th hole? $13,000. This is called compounding. This is what banks use against you. It's called compound interest. When you get a loan, they understand that the longer you have the loan, the more they get to make. This is why when you first start paying off your car, you have no equity, because they've compounded it to make you pay for interest that is in the front so that you get equity in the back. It's compounding. I don't have time to get into the entirety of all that, but I want you to understand something. That's a serious principle. So for example, years ago I bought a car, and the car I bought, I think it was about $30,000, and I had a high interest rate on it because at the time my dad had just passed away. He had the same name I had, and they tried to put certain things of his on my credit report. So to finance this car, I had to take a high interest rate, or I had to wait until I got this stuff off my credit report and then go. So because I understand compounding interest, I said, it doesn't matter the interest rate because I know how to fix that. So what I did was I literally made an additional $100 payment every single month, and I paid it off in 2 years. And my interest rate, by the time it was all said and done, it started at 14.9%, mind you. By the time I was done, it was 3%. Because I understand compounding. See, but compounding requires consistency. In other words, if you are investing for your future and you're going into an IRA or a SEP IRA or a 401k, whatever the case may be, you have to do it consistently. You can't just do it 1 year and not the next. You can't do it 1 month and not the next. You have to do it every single month, because compounding works and exponentially begins to grow. So when I'm talking to you about compounding, how this has to do with your businesses, you have got to pay attention to the little details, because big doors swing on small hinges, and it all compounds and adds up. So for example, let's look at this example here. If I have marketing and my response is 1% out of every 1,000, for whatever it is I'm doing. Let's say it's mail order. Let's say it's marketing of social media, email list. 1,000 people walk into your building because you're advertising, and they come into your store. Whatever that number is, the response rate is 1%. If I take and increase that by just 0.5%, just 0.5%, I'm now at 150. Is what that should say, right? Is that right? No, that's right, 1,500. So let's say I convert 2% of those, which is now 20 people, or I go up from 2% to 4%, I now went up to, you see it? The average order is $200, and I increase it to $300. Look at what just happened. Because remember, one of the things I promised with this class is that I'll show you how to multiply, literally give you the tools and show you how to multiply your outcome. We've had so many people that have multiplied their income 3 times, 4 times, doubled their income. How? Because they understand it's the little things. You make little tweaks, it all adds up to multiplication. This is compounding effect. So just making little tweaks here, little tweaks there. Look at the sales conversion, appointments. If you had 3 appointments a week and you improved to 5 appointments a week, you close 2 out of 10, now you're closing 5 out of 10. Your average per sale, look at the numbers. You're now at 8 times. Just because you made little adjustments along the way. And so everything we're going to do is to help you to understand all the places in your business where you can make just a little adjustment here, increase it here, increase it here, increase it here, and watch the compound effect kick in.